So I was watching Cobra Kai season 3 again. I know, but I got a lot out of it, and it kind of got me to thinking that it kind of wrapped the entire series up. I know they're gonna have another season, but it got me thinking. Their whole conflict with one another essentially comes from the same place, and it's Allie. And both characters are so focused and so stuck on, he did this, he stepped in, my girl, it was your girl, it was my girl. And the whole premise was that, they're both stuck on Allie, and they couldn't let it go. Daniel, his crux of the situation and his, I guess, unfinished business or things that he kind of held on to, and I think maybe blame Johnny for with Allie, is that he felt she was maybe misleading to him, and she just kind of dumped him in typical Daniel fashion, just like in Karate Kid 1 and in 2. He's reactive, he's confrontational, and he blows things out of proportion. And it turns out that it wasn't a case of all of a sudden her falling in love with a football player from UCLA, but in reality, Daniel, and it's so true to his character, he's very reactive, very headstrong, and he doesn't necessarily listen to reason first. He gets a story, he reacts, and whether it's right or wrong, that's what he goes with. And a lot of times he kind of regrets the initial reaction. And with that, he reacted to what he thought was her dumping him for the guy from UCLA. It was just a friend, and Daniel just blew it way out of proportion. And so he held on to that forever, kind of like unfinished, unsettled business with her. And Daniel finally realizes, and you see it in his facial expressions in the final episode of season 3. He has oh man, I was wrong. I really screwed up there. He has that moment. And with Johnny, the core of the problem has always been he feels Daniel came in, stole his girl out from underneath him, and then he beat him in the tournament. And he did nothing wrong, and it was all Daniel and Allie. And she explains to him, and he even comes to a realization that, man, I made a lot of mistakes in life and with her in the relationship. The main reason for the demise of their relationship was because Johnny was selfish, and he was a bully, and he was doing things the wrong way. And it wasn't because Daniel stepped in and stole her. And she helps him realize and kind of come to terms that he made a lot of mistakes in their relationship and in his life, and it was his fault. He was wrong, and that's why things didn't work out. And you realize both of those characters' issues, essentially the same thing, and she helps them kind of realize they were the ones that ultimately were the downfall of why they didn't work out, and helped them move on and helped Johnny move on. And it's like they kind of, once they have that realization, they are able to move on essentially with that part of their life, and that baggage that they've been carrying around. And you see it at the end to where they are, it's like a breath of fresh air for both of them. That chapter of their life that they've been harboring is finally gone. And it was just such a great scene, having everything brought full circle with their 30 years of rivalry and hatred and ill feelings toward each other. She helps them kind of air it out. She helps them realize that as different as those two think they are essentially very much alike. The things that they don't like about the other person are things that they are within themselves that don't want to acknowledge it. And she helps them kind of bridge the gap of this rivalry and move past it. And it's awesome to see, because essentially the first 3 seasons were fueled from this rivalry. And now that it's gone, it's going to be interesting to see how they progress forward as allies and not as enemies. So I just thought that having her on the show, not just on the show, but having her kind of be the mediator or the counselor, if you will, of the two, and help push them to a more positive path. And just seeing her was awesome. She looks great. And if they don't bring her back, I'm okay with that. But just, I thought of anybody in the show other than, the 2 main characters. She's had the most impact in the show, in my opinion. And she was my favorite character so far. And I hope they bring her back, but if they do not, I will be okay with that, because I feel like the short time that they had her in the show, it far exceeded my expectations of what they were going to do with her. All right, with that being said, thanks for checking out the video, checking out the channel. If you like, give a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Think about subscribing, and have a good day.